Hello, I'm Heather. I'm a serial entrepreneur, content creator, author, and woman with many passions and interests. I created this podcast, Live, Learn, Leverage, for those who are ready to get out of the box. This is a safe space to live freely and authentically. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Live, Learn, Leverage. Today, I have an absolutely amazing guest. I have been so looking forward to this interview because we all know the importance of visibility, and that is the very reason that I have Carla on today. And so allow me to just share a bit about you. So today, we have the founder of Carli Communications. Her name is Carla Williams Johnson, and she is widely known as the CEO's publicist. Through strategic public relations, visibility, and reputation management, she helps entrepreneurs, executives, and brands become known for the right things and show up in spaces that create real opportunity. So today in this conversation, we're going to be exploring just what it really means to be seen. And so with no further ado, Carla, welcome. And thank you so very much for joining us today on Live, Learn, Leverage.
Thank you so much for having me. One thing you did mention is that I am also from the Caribbean. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I
Of
have to do my
course.
usual pageant wave every time I say
I love it, right? Yes, the Caribbean nations unite. And for those of you who know me, and for those of you who don't, you know I'm from Grenada. So we are from this,
Oh, we're
we are
Caribbean
neighbors.
sisters, right? We're
We're sisters.
sisters.
Yes, very much so. But thank you so very much for joining today because one of the things that I share with listeners all the time and just clients in general or people that I just meet, our online visibility has become more crucial and more
Mhm,
critical than it ever has been.
mhm,
And I think there are a lot of people who think that taking the time to have any meaningful visibility and any meaningful online presence is only necessary if you have a really big brand and you're doing all of this business. But I suffice to say, my belief is very much that the smaller you are, I
right.
genuinely believe the more visibility you need to have
Mhm,
when your reputation is very much connected to your product, your service,
mhm.
etc. It's not just for the big people because you are not even, and I think for many of us, we don't realize the opportunities that we're losing because people can't find us. And so if you would just even share a bit of your story, like why you even decided to go into this business, what the experiences were, your journey genuinely into this space, and why you realized that this was where you wanted to lend your
Oh,
voice.
wow.
Solid
Wow.
question, right?
Okay, so I loved everything that you just said about visibility, but I just want to make one small change. It's more about authentic visibility rather
Correct.
than visibility itself.
Yeah.
Because people want to do business with people that they feel like they know, people that they feel that they trust, people that they have formed a relationship with, right? They feel like that you guys are one. So what I try to encourage my clients is to showcase yourself authentically, who you are, what you stand for, how you serve your people, how do your products and services solve the issue that your audience is having.
Yeah.
So it's less about just being visible for being visible sake, and
Right.
more about how can I showcase myself in the truest form so that the right people could connect with me. And if I were to take you way back,
Please.
way
Please.
back. I just had a birthday, so I have to take you way back.
Happy birthday.
So when I first got into marketing and advertising and stuff like that, one thing I saw that was missing was that authenticity. Back in the 1980s and the 1990s, the loudest marketer won. Once you had this um flashy pictures and this catchy jingle, and that was the thing that would catch people.
Sure.
But as people got older, as the millennials grew up, We want to form that authentic connection with our people. That's why things like the influencer,
Right.
um, what do you even call it? Like now that you have all of these influencers, and how do you have them? It's because people connect with them through their lifestyle, through their journey, through their struggles, through all of these different things. So, as a publicist, my job is to help you showcase that part of yourself, the part of yourself that you want people to see, that you want people to know about you. What are the platforms that you stand on? What are you passionate about? So that you can form those authentic relationships and get that authentic visibility so people can be like, well, you know what? I love this person. I want to buy from them. Or they might tell people this is how word of mouth spreads, right?
Right.
I may not want the product or service, but you're quick for them to refer you to someone else who might need your product or services. So as a publicist, my goal is really to get that out there and to increase your visibility, not just within the territory or the country, and for us, it's not just within local context or even with the region, but even internationally. Because the more people that can see you and connect with you in that authentic way, is the more that people will say, hey, let me do business with this person, or let me collaborate with this person, or let me invest in this person, or let me, I've had clients, I'm not even joking. Like I've had clients that have had months of authentic visibility,
Hmm.
and when time for them to do an event, sponsors were like, "Oh, I heard of you. Oh, I've seen you. Oh,
Yes.
remember you were on that
Yes.
podcast? You were on
Yes.
that television program? Yeah, I remember you." And because of that, the ease of doing business was
Yes.
so much less.
It was a much easier, yes. I share, so especially for solopreneurs. Um, those in and was, if I should even say that, but it's true because I feel like it's a bit of it's something that people could easily trip on. If you are, again, you are the primary, if you're an attorney, for example, I think an attorney is a great example.
Hmm.
And you have a good practice, you have a thriving practice. And people know who you are, they're familiar with who you are, especially if you're in an island setting, that's relatively easy, right? But you get out into a larger or a
Yes,
different playing field
yes.
where that word of mouth is not as easy to achieve. If people begin now to, they have started to search differently. So whereas it was just Google, now they're
Hmm.
asking AI. And unlike Google, where a number of different things might come up, AI is providing very, very, very specific answers. And so I would often share, look, you really need to get that information out there. You need to let people know who you are. And so many people push back against it. They feel as though they're bragging, that there's no need for them to do that. I'm not an influencer. I'm not. And they think that taking the time to be on the podcast, taking the time to create a blog, write a blog, or a YouTube channel, or anything like that,
Yes.
they see it as being boastful. And I feel like also as women in particular, but also in addition, women from the Caribbean, there was always this sense of, oh, well, why you have to brag? And it's like,
Mhm.
well, this is not about bragging. This is about sharing information, because not all information is created equal, right?
Mhm.
If we are sharing information to be able to make a difference, that's valuable knowledge. It's very different, than showing me drinking cocktails on Friday or Saturday night. It's not the same thing. And so, have you ever come, or I'm not, have you ever, but how do you deal with, because I'm sure you have come across people who really need that visibility, but
So
they're
I'm
pushing
I'm
against
happy
it?
you brought up that topic about um coming across as boastful, bragging. I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing. I don't know if it's a female thing. But I have encountered that a lot where
Sure.
people like, well, I don't want people to know about,
To know
I don't want people
exactly.
to think that.
Exactly.
Um, but here's the thing, and it all boils down to this, right? If people don't know who you are,
Oh,
what
jeez.
you do, how you can help, then they're not going to come to you because they don't know you exist. It's not that they don't want to buy from you. They just don't know that you exist so that they can buy from you or they can work with you or they can collaborate with you. They just don't know if you exist. So there's a story that I tell my students all the time. I tell them there was a time a couple years ago that we had some major flooding here. It's down central of Trinidad, and a lot of people were cut off because of the flood waters and stuff like that. And at the time, I had a friend that was living down on that side, and they weren't flooded out, but they were cut off. But where they were, when people were sending relief help, they would pass them straight because of where they were situated. And there were people who were telling, "Hey, they were promoting themselves. Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that." And because I knew that they were doing that, I was able to know who to call to say, "Hey, y'all keep going down in this area, but y'all are missing this one space where there are a group of people that need your help because they are cut off." Right? And because they were sending like food and water and all different things they were sending, right? Because they were
Okay.
cut off, they could not get, the necessity. And what that story says is, yes, it could have sounded like these people were bragging, "Oh, look how we're helping people and look, trying to make themselves look good." But that's not what they were actually doing. They were letting people know, we're here, we're here to help. This is how we can help. So I was not able to know who to call to send help to the people that need it. And I will never forget the nights. I will never forget the nights, apparently. Apparently, they were so loud, they woke me dead. And my friend was like, no, the person told my friend, if I didn't call, they would have never known that one, that area existed, and so many people within that area was in need because they were cut off. That is the power of PR. So it's not about bragging or boasting, because I get that a lot, and I understand why people think that it might be like that. But there's a way to do things. There's a
Correct.
way to let people know this is how we can help. This is what we do. This is how we can not necessarily showcase ourselves as better than, but it's a matter of this is who we are, this is who we help, and this is how we can help the people that need it. So I'm very, very, very happy, bro, that I get that pushback a lot. You will not believe. I
Sure.
get that pushback a lot. So to continue the conversation, visibility is for everybody.
Sure.
It is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're big, you're small, or if you think that you're big or you're small. There
Also.
are people out there that need your products, your services, that need you,
Yes.
right? Sometimes it's not what it is that you offer. It is your word, your motivation, your inspiration, right? Your mother juggling all of these things, your source of
Sure.
inspiration for somebody else. You're an entrepreneur from the Caribbean, battling all the different things that are uniquely us.
Yes.
That's a source of inspiration, right? And then people will be like, you know what? I have no need for their service, but you see that person, she's fantastic. He's fantastic. You should buy from them, right?
Yes.
So they become advocates for your brand, and your advocates for your brand becomes your community, and then your community is your protection. Because one of the things PR does, and we could talk about it a little later on, is one of the things that PR does, having a great PR network in place, is that if something goes wrong somewhere,
Yes.
it might even be your fault. It might just be somebody that you're
Yes.
associated with. You have advocates for your brand. Before you even say the word, somebody out there is already defending you. No, he's not like that. He's not like that. Right? And if it's one thing about bad news, it travels faster
Yes.
than this. When you have good PR and a
It's
good
true.
publicist, right? That could help put the things in place to help you build that community, get those advocates, and build that protection around your brand. It makes things easier as you grow, as you expand, as you elevate in your business.
I love, love, love what you
I know
just
I said a lot.
no, but the part about people hearing you who may not even necessarily be your clients.
Mhm.
However, because they like you never know who people know,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so For many, and I do believe in being as targeted as you could possibly be, as being as specific as you can in
Mm-hmm.
your messaging. But it is true because no man is an island. There's always a communal aspect of things. And so the more people who are familiar with you, you're right. There is that community. And I have found myself many times listening to people because I'm like, well, I don't know that I might necessarily ever become a client, but I love your messaging. And listening to you, if there's positive information, there are things that you could benefit from, or even if I don't benefit, you can
Yeah.
pass that information along. And I think that mindfulness is extremely important because for many people, I will tell them, especially in the age of AI,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like, look, you could leverage this, you could leverage that. There's so much. We have entered into a time where we are now able to create with a greater speed and efficiency than ever
Mm-hmm.
before. And so if you're coupling that with a person who has knowledge and experience,
Yeah.
the way that that can amplify your message, it would
Yeah.
genuinely bring everything next level. And so many times I hear, oh, I am just one person. Like, I don't need to be bothered with that. And I don't need, and I don't need. And I'm like, but unfortunately, you also don't understand the opportunities that you're missing
Yeah.
and what that value. So, for example, which I think is a genuinely solid example, to this point, I have had 3 offerings to do different retreats at resorts and things like that. And for 2 of them, they so out of the 3, 2 of them
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to be specifically around my book, my most recent book, which is Create Your Own Table, a Guide to Discovering Your Purpose. 2 of them
Uh-huh.
did not even read the book
Mm-hmm.
before they made the offer.
Mm-hmm.
They were clearly consuming. So I had a press release. One had actually seen the press release from ages ago because what did they do? They looked me up, right? Because that's the first thing people would do when they're searching your name. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people aren't really, not that they're not aware of it, but they're not realizing that it applies to you as small as you think you might be.
Mm-hmm.
They looked me up and they were able to see, okay, she has a YouTube channel. I have the podcast. So they were able to then consume different messages,
Right.
understand how I am in different conversations, sharing different stuff. They understood, more importantly, how I thought. And
Yeah.
with that, they were comfortable to be like, Heather, this is an opportunity that I think would be great for you, because they came to me with an opportunity. I didn't go to them. I didn't even know to go to them. And that's the other thing, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know,
Yes. Yes.
right? And so if you take the time to put yourself out there are things that are coming to you that you didn't even know, or that can come to you that you didn't even know
Yeah.
existed. When I wrote this book, not in a million years did I ever think that I was going to be asked to do retreats. Never. That was simply not in my purview. But somebody else who saw, they had a vision that I didn't.
Yeah.
But because they were able to see me, I was able to see that. But think about, again, like the opportunities that we could miss
Yes. And you
just
said
because.
3 really important things there, just in that story. 3 really important things about PR. First thing is that it is not a short-term something. It is a
Exactly.
long game. The
Exactly.
person read it however long ago, but there was something in it that, that just stuck, and good PR does that. It gives you that feeling, that emotion. You can't quite say what it is, but it's there. If you look at the people that you follow, there's just something that about them. So it's a
Exactly.
long game. And then the next step was what? Let me do the research. So then they go and they see, oh, they're posting about this. They're talking about
Exactly.
that. This is where the authentic visibility comes into play, right? Because now that you've evoked that feeling, that emotion, they're now going to see, okay, is this person actually legit, or are they just saying what they need to say, right? So they go through your posts, they go through your social media, they go through the other interviews that you might have done, and they look and they curate this image in their mind of who they believe you now are, to make sure that you are exactly who you say, so that they can make that, right? They can have that relationship. And then lastly, what does that translate to, right? The third thing you said, more opportunities.
Opportunities.
Opportunities that you didn't even consider, that you didn't even think about,
Sure.
that you didn't even have to be in the room for, that just fell in your lap or into
Literally,
the inbox.
it fell into my inbox.
Just like
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
That is the power of PR. And I wish more entrepreneurs understood this. We see PR for the Beyoncés and the sports celebrities and all of these types of things. But we don't understand how impactful it can be for us entrepreneurs as we build and grow our business, because this the same way that we form relationships with the celebrities and with the sports persons and stuff like that, it's the same way people form relationships with people that they see on social media, other entrepreneurs, for various reasons,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And that's what we need. We need people to form more of those relationships. So again, as you mentioned, the word of mouth, the advocacy, the community, the everything that comes along with it. And that's my hope. That's my dream, as a publicist. When I first came into this whole, I mean, I've always had a marketing and advertising and PR background.
Okay.
But when COVID hit, right? A lot of people said, "Oh my God, it was terrible." But what did I do? I showed up. I showed up. I lost count of how many places I was speaking about different things. And if my son was 2 when COVID hit, so it's like, okay, so you work from home and you're a mom of a toddler, productivity low. I came and talked to you. Whatever, I was there talking about all COVID related business and motherhood issues.
Sure. Sure.
And that helped me so much, because now I became the face and the voice of Caribbean people who wanted to elevate. And I have people who are with me up to this day because of the conversations we have had. I have had business opportunities because I was so vocal and I was visible with a purpose. Right? I remember I had one conversation on a morning show, and I told the host, I said, "We're going to get over it." And he's like, "You're so optimistic." I said, "I'm not optimistic. I'm realistic, because
Sure.
no matter what life throws at us, we human beings, we are resilient,
Sure.
and we can definitely get over it." My phone rang within an hour. Within an hour. I don't know how these people got my phone number, but that's a whole other
That's just a conversation.
Within an hour, my phone rang, and they were so inspired by my words. And
Mm.
well, I mean, the rest, as they
Here
say, is
we are.
history.
Here
But
we are.
that's the power of PR right there. You cannot explain it, but it is a feeling that is there, and that feeling is what translates and helps people say, "Hey, you are the person for me."
So, from the stand for those people who may be listening, who they're not certain what it means or feel like this could be cost prohibitive. I'm not certain that I'm ready. I don't know that I'm there yet, but I know I am desirous of this visibility that these two women are speaking about. But I have no idea, can I afford a publicist? What should I do? Am I ready? Like, what would be your advice
Well,
as
the
to that
bad
point where you're
The
like, you know
bad
what?
news is you're going to have to be visible, whether you think you're ready or not.
True.
That's the
It's the
bad
truth.
news, right?
That is
The
also
good
true.
news is we now have all of these ways that we can
Yes.
be authentically visible to our audience once we know who our audience is. So we
Is.
have all of these ways. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be where you need to be, having the discussions that relate to your people. And one of the things I always say as a publicist, social media is great, but the algorithm is not your friend,
Correct.
right? It's a great tool. It's a great tool, but it is not your friend. You have to you have to do other things in order for people to see you, to recognize you, to appreciate you, right? There are certain things like telling your story, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, I have no event. I don't have this. I don't have to talk. I have nothing to talk about." Yes, you do. Tell your story. Your story is going to resonate with so many people. Your story is yours. So for you, it doesn't seem like a lot, right? Or it doesn't seem like a big deal. But for somebody that is going through it, your story might be the thing that pulls them out, right? And you're not going to hear about it immediately. You'll probably hear about it 6 months down the road, but you're going to get that thank you, right? Another thing you could do is speak about things that are happening as it relates to your business or as it relates to your industry.
Right.
When I was featured in Forbes, when I was mentioned, sorry, in Forbes the second time around, it was around the time of the infamous Will Smith slap. And
Right.
that was what everybody was talking about, right, at the Academy Award.
Yeah.
And I simply said, I was Will Smith's publicist. This is what I would do. That's all I did. That's all I said. And folks picked it up and ran with it. Literally, just like that. Just from speaking about something that was relatable.
So what platform were you on, and where were you speaking that allowed Forbes to be able to find your story?
Okay, so with respect to the forms mentioned, what happened is that at the day after the event, it was being talked about all over. So I joined the conversation on social media. And
Right.
then I shared it on, to be specific, I shared it on Facebook and Instagram, I believe. And then
Okay.
somebody picked it up, they ran with it, and then I got an email in my inbox saying, "Hey, we're doing a story. We're asking publicists, you know, what if you were Will Smith's publicist, what would you advise him to do? And we saw your post and we just wanted to know if you would." Right. And then I said, obviously I said yes. I mean, it's
Of
Forbes,
course.
right?
It's Forbes.
Obviously. So I said yes, and then I submitted it, and I was on a list of a few publicists from around the world, and that was the headline. What's in Will Smith's future, or something along those lines was the headline, and everybody gave, if they were Will Smith's publicists, this is what they would advise them to do. And
Right.
that literally came from showing up and being authentic to
I
me to
was just
tell
going
as
to
a
say.
publicist, right? This is what I do. So telling your story, jumping on trending topics as they relate to your brand are great ways to showcase your visibility in an authentic way that can get the right people to see you. So as a publicist, I will always advise social media, great tool, fantastic, utilize it. But you have to utilize other things outside of social media for people to take notice of you, one, and two, build that emotional connection.
Connection.
Anybody with a internet connection on a device can call themselves an influencer, right?
Sure.
Anybody could jump on and say whatever it is that they want. But look at the people that you follow. There is an element of PR infused into their brand. There is an element of publicity, which is like getting the features and the interviews infused in their brand, even if they reshare those interviews on social media, right? So 9 times out of 10, there might be an influencer that you like. You're not going to say, "Oh, well, I saw them on this podcast." No, I follow them on social media. But while scrolling through social media, they were on this podcast. They were featured in this magazine. They were on this um, radio program, right? They did this collaboration. And that together fuses everything so people can build that trust so that they can follow you.
As you're sharing this, I keep recalling a statement made by a very famous marketing professional. Says people notice you for the first time after seeing you 11 times.
Oh, fact.
Right?
Fact
So it's like
to
they
work.
see this, but you're not paying attention, right? Just like you said, because you're just doom scrolling, you whatever it is, and it's not registering.
Mhm.
But yes, they notice you for the first time
Mm-hmm.
after seeing you 11 times. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is that, I feel that may feel daunting for those people who think of this as a chore and they're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want to do. This does not fall naturally into my wheelhouse. But again, that is exactly the reason that people like you exist, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to create that roadmap and give them the tools necessary. A large part of my branding is that your story is your strategy. And that's all of what you are speaking about today. And so thank you very much for all of that. But so that we make sure that we absolutely land this plane and we take this home, where can our viewers connect with you? Where can they meet you? Where can they, just get that wisdom, all of the knowledge? And if they would like to work with you, if you could please share your details, I would greatly appreciate that.
So, well, I'm here in Trinidad. If you want to visit, doubles is always available. But outside of that, you can find me on social media. I am especially active on Instagram, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, at Carli, Carli Communication. Um, and yeah, you can definitely find me there. I actually have a free visibility audit
Wonderful.
for career entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who want to understand where they stand in terms of where they're visible, where they're lacking, and the things that you need to do to bridge the gap. So if this is something that you want to look forward to in the future, how do I build a visible brand? How do I get more people to see me? How do I show up authentically? What are the things that I need? As you mentioned, the tools that I need in order to get from here to there. The visibility audit is actually a really great tool for you guys. So you can
I
really just DM me to get that.
love it. I'll able to put a link because I love that we're so aligned in the way that we see this. I also have an assessment because it is really important taking the time to understand where you stand, do an audit, do an assessment, whatever it is, so that you have clarity, because you cannot move forward without that clarity and
Agree.
without understanding what it is that you need. And so you don't need a million things, but what you do need is just to take the first step.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is a very solid next step. And with that, thank you so very much, Carla, for sharing this. This has been absolutely enjoyable. I was really just so much looking forward to this conversation. And I hope for everyone listening, at Live, Learn, Leverage, my goal is to provide you with all of the tools necessary to be able to just understand what that next step is. And when you're there, what again? And it's just the little steps. We don't have to do these huge things, but it's just the little things that make a big difference. Anyway, guys, have a wonderful day. As always, I hope this serves. If you have any questions, just please put them in the comments below, and all the links will be in the description. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.